All right, we have the exclusive title from the Neon Beast event, and it is really cool to have an exclusive title that was only rewarded to the top 10 on the leaderboard for each region. But what did it cost? What did it take to get this?
What did it cost?
The Neon event ran from January 17th through January 30th, and you had to get firecrackers to damage the beast. And to get those firecrackers, they were equivalent to cubes gained. And you could run a special set of 4 tech cards. As long as you had one of those 4 in your deck, you gained double the firecrackers, but the maximum for each day to be able to get was 300. And to get 300, if you were using the double card, 150 cubes, that took me on average between 6 and 10 hours every single day for an incredibly long time. And I am so very glad that it's over. I'm glad that I put in the grind time. I'm glad that I did it. But there were some days where I just didn't want to play. I needed to get 30 more cubes, and I just couldn't win a game to save my life. A deck that was working incredibly well for the last 2 days, 3 days, last 5 hours, all of a sudden just started tanking. And it was one of the most rewarding and frustrating experiences all at the same time. So to be able to get top 10 in the leaderboard, what exactly did it look like? What did it take? And so I completed the challenge at rank 146, and I ended in 6th on the leaderboard. And so rank became a factor because there were more than 10 players that got the maximum number of fireworks. So every single day that the event was running, they capped out at 300 firecrackers. And I was one of those, and it took so much time. And then not to mention that the last day it came down to a sprint. The event only ran 4 hours after the last reset. And so I was double snapping on every single game. And so for you, anybody that ran into me on that last day, I apologize, but I was snapping on turn 1 every single game that I played. And it took 3 hours of very actively, very quickly playing and trying to maximize my cubes to be able to max out. And so if you had a tie of firecrackers, it came down to rank, and so rank became very, very important. Now, I think this event is a step in the right direction. I think since the original events, they have come a very long way. Originally, there was no reward for grinding. It was just how many cubes can you gain, and then it slowly transitioned into you get a few credits, you get a little bit of gold, you get an exclusive avatar if you participate. And then now this one, they honed in on an exclusive reward, something that felt really worthwhile to grind. And I put in a lot of time, and I don't feel like it was wasted. It was a lot of time, a lot more time than I should have invested into the game, but I'm happy that I did. What do I think they could do for future events to make them better? I think shorter events, something that is more accommodating to people that might not be able to play every single day. So maybe a week-long event, maybe a 3-day long event, maybe a 1-day event where you are just grinding out for that 1 day and you hit it as hard as you possibly can. And then after that, you know that it's over. That would require something a little bit less exclusive of a reward. So maybe they go with that, or maybe they go with rewarding a few more people to be able to reward that grind time. Because I feel incredibly bad for the person that came in 11th, because they had max firecrackers every single day as well, but they didn't get the title, and it just feels really, really bad. So what would I like to see for future events? I would like to see them a little bit shorter. I love the exclusive cosmetic, something that doesn't really impact the game in any way, shape, or form, but encourages you to really, really grind. Now, one thing about the event that I don't necessarily care for, after you get to a certain rank, you start facing off against a lot of bots. And so after about 170, you face a lot of bots. So then you can climb and gain cubes a lot faster rather than when you're in that middle ground and you're really in the trenches and it's really hard and people are playing really passively and really conserving every single cube that they can. It makes it a lot harder to gain those big cube games. And then on the flip side of that, somebody that completely tanks their MMR and faces only bots can potentially win trade to get their cubes maxed out each and every day. And then on the last couple of days, they can really focus on and push for gaining rank. And since their MMR is so low, they're still going to be matching against bots. And it feels bad that it's not an equal playing field. I don't know necessarily how they could fix this piece, but it does feel really bad that somebody that could snap against bots and get 8 cubes pretty consistently can have a distinct advantage over somebody that is facing everybody else that is an infinite and that is trying into the event and just playing very cautiously, because then it's going to take a lot more games than somebody that is on the lower or upper end of that matchmaking. But overall, I'm incredibly glad that the events seem to be going in the right direction. As long as they continue improving on them, I think we're going to have some really cool events moving forward as soon as we find a way to make sure that it's fair across the board and maybe doesn't require 100 and something hours of grind time to potentially achieve the reward. But if you run into me, I'm pretty much going to be running this title for, I don't know, the rest of my life. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I'm very proud that I was able to get top 10. It did take a lot of dedication, because even whenever I got sick or just didn't feel like playing, you still had to grind to make sure that you maxed out your cubes. But I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and the brief glimpse behind the scenes of what it takes to potentially be in the top 10 for any future events. And as always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.